Well, happy Monday to you, men. I'm Nicholas, one of the Braveheart leaders, coming at you for another Man Talk Monday. This week, I wanted to talk about the topic of adversity specifically. If you've been following the Braveheart Men for a little while, one of the things you've heard us say is we talk so much about an all-encompassing growth of us as men, whether it's spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. One of the things that we talk about is the wheel of life. Every single aspect of our lives, living it into the fullness of what it's capable of. We call it, the vernacular in the Braveheart Men is living it at a 10, living each aspect of our lives at a 10. And so I wanted to talk about the topic of adversity because I think that's one of the things that we can always strengthen ourselves in. We can always be more mature in or immovable in. And for me, I had an instance this past week where it really took me out and I had to face adversity down. And so I know every single one of us in our lives, maybe you're in the middle of adversity right now, maybe you're riding high and then all of a sudden like we experience adversity, oftentimes it comes out of left field and just hits you, broadside you on the side of the head and you're like, where did this come from? And for me, one of the things when we talked about the wheel of life or the few aspects we wanted to focus on and really thrive in this year, for me, that one of the big areas was fitness. I was a little bit overweight coming out of the holidays. My clothes were fitting a little bit tight, and I was like, man, I don't want this. Especially stepping into my 40s now. I wanted to feel differently, and I wanted to have a new level of dedication and focus and consistency in how I felt and my health and what I was putting into my body. And so, I'm excited to report that I have found that love again in the gym and working out consistently and feeling better, feeling more energized, feeling like I've put work in to grow my body every single day. And just riding high in the gym and actually creating it. Another vernacular you'll hear us say in the Braveheart Men is our sacred rhythms. And what we mean by that is like putting in consistency in our daily rhythm, our daily life, something that is life-giving and helpful and helps us grow and thrive as men. And so for me, fitness has become something that has absolutely become part of my sacred rhythm. And like I get up excited every single day to go to the gym and work out and just lift weights, and I feel great afterwards. And in the last 10 weeks that I've been doing it consistently, I've noticed growth and I've noticed just a greater sense in how I feel about myself. And one of the things that happened that I got broadsided with was I was lifting a little bit heavy one day and my back just went out. It just popped on me and I couldn't move. And I got home and it just continued to get worse. It continued to lock up, get tighter on me, and actually was really, really painful. The next day, I couldn't even get out of bed without help from my wife. And I kind of had this moment where I felt dejected and I felt defeated, and I was like, man, just when I felt like I was making progress, just when I felt like I was like hitting the ground running and really like taking like serious strides, of course this would happen. Of course this would come or hit me in the way that it did. And for me, I had to take a step back and recognize like, okay, if this is the journey I'm on and this is the setback that I'm facing, what am I going to do? How am I going to overcome this? And I think when I look back at my spiritual life or even just like my physical life and adversity hits, I've so often let it defeat me. I've so often let it create hopelessness or a lack of, okay, now I can't move forward. And I think as Christians, certainly as men, we have so many things that can come in the form of adversity that can take us out, that can lead us to believe a lie or actually take away our hope or actually take away our momentum. And I think that's exactly what the adversary would want us to do. And I think, heaven sees it or God sees it. And I think so many times instead of letting it take us back or surrender us or defeat us, God's looking to see how we're going to respond. God's looking to see how we're going to move forward despite what just came at us. And that next day after I had popped my back, I couldn't move. It was excruciating. I just knew I had to keep moving. I just knew I had to keep progressing somehow, some way. If that meant having to heal my back first before I could keep going in the progress that I was seeing, then okay, so be it. But it actually led me to start looking into scripture and what Scripture says about adversity and allowing that truth to re-inspire me, reinvigorate me, have me re-engage in not looking at what the problem is, but how am I going to get past the problem. So a few verses that I wanted to give you that I really inspired me and helped encourage me in this journey when adversity hit. The first one is from Romans 8, verses 28. It says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, and those who are called according to his purpose." 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9 says, "We are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed." And for me, that really struck home, because when I read that we are not crushed, perplexed, but not driven to despair, that's really how I felt. I was like completely perplexed. And maybe you can relate. There are times where I've had adversity in my life where I've absolutely been hit, and I'm just totally perplexed by it. Like, God, why? Or how did this happen? But I'm starting to recognize, instead of asking why, I'm now trying to look at, okay, how, despite that hit or that adversity, can I get around it and keep moving forward without it taking the wind out of my sails? The last verse I want to give you is Proverbs 24, verse 10. It says, "If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small." And to me, that was super convicting. It says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. I was like, wow, okay, as a man, I was literally trying to increase my strength in the physical. But also, I'm always trying to do that in the spiritual as well. I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to mature and strengthen myself in the ways that I know how, in the ways that I can. And for me, God used this as a lesson to recognize how it comes or how I experience it, and then what my direct response to it is. And so is my direct response going to create the faintness that the scripture is talking about? Or despite the adversity, will I allow it to make my strength not small, but big? And for me, it's such a sobering call to build an inner resilience and to trust God with a greater strength. So for me, I just wanted to use that personal experience I had to walk through this week, and how God used it to teach me and help actually grow in strengthening, both emotionally, mentally, physically as well. So I encourage you guys that when adversity hits, recognize that there's still an opportunity to be strengthened. There's still an opportunity to see, despite the hit, where you can move forward or course, re-navigate around it. We don't see when adversity hits. How many of us actually know when it's coming? Probably much less than the amount of times that it comes out of left field or it hits us from a blind spot, right? So my encouragement to you would be, recognize when adversity hits, or if you're in the middle of adversity right now, it's the perfect time to look for, where is the solution? Where is the path that I can re-navigate around this? Where is the opportunity to invite God into this and what I'm facing and what I'm staring down right now? So I encourage you guys, just know, one, you're not alone, and two, that there's always opportunity when adversity hits to be strengthened in so many different facets. And even though I wholeheartedly believe that those pieces of adversity are not always God, sometimes they are opportunities from God to grow and strengthen us. So I bless you guys with that. Have a great Monday. If you're liking the channel, you're liking the content that you're seeing, please like, subscribe, join to what we're doing. We are continuing to push forward and creating events for you guys. And we just want to say thank you for being a part of our community. We really appreciate your time and watching. Have a great Monday, guys.